What do the two sticks of Ezekiel 37 signify? And we'll read that together. Again, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, As for you, son of man, take a stick for yourself and write on it, for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write on it, for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions. Then join them one to the other for yourself into one stick, and they will become one in your hand.
This question stems from a conversation I had last week and also this morning with a Mormon who asked me to read Ezekiel 37 and insisted that the illustration of the two sticks was this. One represents the Bible and the other represents the Book of Mormons. This is a case of a forced interpretation which ignores completely the immediate and the whole historical context of this passage. It is even surprising, I want to tell you, that some may come out with such an interpretation. Let's look at the immediate context of Ezekiel. In the first verses of Ezekiel 37, God gives the illustration of the dry bones, if you remember, and explained that these bones are Israel in the diaspora, bones which he gathers together to form a body. This is a prophecy concerning the rebirth of the nation of Israel after the diaspora, that is after the Assyrian, the Babylonian, and that is the last one, the Roman diaspora. This prophecy relates directly to what happened in May of 1948 when Israel possessed one more time a land that she could officially call her own. Following the chronology, Ezekiel 38 and 39 describes the war of Gog and Magog, the war which brings the Messiah. This war of Gog and Magog is for Jewish commentators the corresponding war of Armageddon. For us, Gog and Magog comes just before, but spearheads and leads us into the final war of Armageddon. Then you have the chapters 40 to 48 of Ezekiel, which gives us a description of the Messianic age. So right in the middle of all this, we have the illustration of the two sticks. And there God confirms that indeed all Israel, the north and the south, will be gathered as one people. While they were at one time separated, soon they will again constitute one country. This gathering of the Jews may indeed represent the Sephardims, who are Jews from Spain and Arab countries, and the Ashkenazim, who are Jews from Northern Europe. They seldom met during the last 2,000 years, but today, like it is with my wife, who's Ashkenazi, and me, Sephardic, they even intermarry. What is clear is that the Book of Mormon, which was published in 1830, some 2,400 years after Ezekiel, is nowhere to be found in the scriptures or in this prophecy. After going through the historical context and after showing this individual that the text does not speak of books but of sticks, edzim, in Hebrew, one for Judah and the other for Ephraim, I had the feeling I was talking to a stick. The conversation did not go anywhere. When he still insisted that it was two books, at this point I reminded him that other books which had the same claim were more ancient than the Book of Mormon. And so I asked him why he could not be the Quran, or why it couldn't be the Talmud or the Apocrypha books, or any other book or document which pretends divine inspiration and co-equality with the scriptures. Once a person moves away from the scriptures to support the teaching of an organization and begins to imagine or create situations that are not in the text, there will always be grounds for false doctrines and understanding. Some say that people can make the Bible say whatever they want. Of course they can if they go outside the context of the scriptures. In fact, one can make any book say whatever they want if they allegorize the content irrespective of the context. But this is precisely, I want to tell you, what steers God's anger. For the Bible is His Word. It is His Word. It is the only document through which God reveals His character and His will to us. God asks so many times in the scriptures not to add, not to take off, or not to alter anything from His Word. Among the last words of the Bible we read in Revelation 22, for I testify, Jesus says, I testify to everyone who hears the words of this prophecy of this book. If anyone adds of these things, God will add to him the plagues that are written in this book. And if anyone takes away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part from the book of life, from the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book. I want to tell you, considering the severity of this warning, it is better not to touch the word, except with the greater reverence and fear of the Lord.